The Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, America's premier classic car competition, one of the world's most respected. How do you get to the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance? Well, by car, of course, but not just any car. It has to be one of a couple of hundred out of all the classic cars in the world chosen for the competition. These are the Rembrandts and Picassos of the classic car world. In 2023, a new name appeared on the competition roster, McPherson College from McPherson, Kansas.
It's 7 years of students' hard work.
To have spent so many hours restoring it, we've won just by being here.
I think it's got a good chance. I think the competition's stiff, but the car itself's in its own class.
Pebble Beach is all about turning heads, and some heads were turned that day. A student entry had never placed in this elite competition. Could they do it? Better yet, how did they even get there? Well, we like to go fast too, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's a 10-year-long story behind the short drive to the viewing stand. And it started, well, 47 years ago. This is the path to Pebble. Now, if you spent any time around automotive restoration, you've likely heard of McPherson College. I personally got involved in McPherson in 1997. My own love of classic cars is not exactly a secret, and I've emceed at Pebble many, many times. So I was stunned to learn that there was a college that actually had been teaching automotive restoration for nearly 20 years. Then I met them and found out just how good they are at teaching it and how talented and dedicated the students are. I guess you could say I've been a McPherson College booster ever since, but that's today. There might not even have been a McPherson College automotive restoration program if it wasn't for a colorful character named Smokey Ballou.
Gaines Ballou, fondly known as Smokey, was a man ahead of his time. He recognized way back in 1976 what it took the industry many years to realize, which is we needed more young people interested in classic cars.
So it's 1976. Gaines, Smokey Ballou, walks into the president's office, sits in the president's desk, kicks his boots literally up on the desk, and he says,
"We need more students who understand the history, the mechanics, the background of these old automobiles, or we're going to run out of people who can work on them."
The president says, "Well, what do you have in mind?" He said, "Well, I've got this collection of cars. I'll give it to you if you'll teach students how to restore them."
It started as a 2-year associate degree, mostly working on Model Ts, and pretty much stayed that way for about 20 years.
In the late 90s, the Board of Trustees at McPherson College is actually considering whether this program should exist. And in fact, there was an item to be discussed at a meeting in 1997 where the college would discontinue this program. And then Jay Leno called.
Really, I think we thought we were being pranked.
We got the call to join Jay for a big award ceremony in California.
And when Jay was getting this award, the McGuire Car Collector of the Year award, he was getting a gift with that as well, and he wanted to give it somewhere. And he said to Randy Ema, "Where do you think I should make this contribution?" Randy said, "Well, you know, there's this little college in Kansas. They're teaching young people how to restore cars."
And basically introduced McPherson College to the world. And he looked out in the audience and he said, "All of you rich people out there who love cars, this is the future, McPherson College." That led to the formation of a national advisory board.
With some of the industry's heaviest hitters on the advisory board, the program transformed into the only 4-year automotive restoration bachelor's degree in the nation.
In 2012, the board had accomplished a lot, but they also felt like there was still more to be done.
So McKeel Haggerty called and said he would be happy to fund a strategic planning session for the board to really create a plan and a direction. He lent us his strategic planning team, and we all met in Chicago.
We spent 2 days in really intense conversations coming up with a mission and a vision for the program.
Everybody in the room was divided up into 3 tables, and we had to create a headline. So in 10 years, what would the headline be in a newspaper? And so one of the groups got up and presented, and it was,
"By 2023, McPherson College competes to win at Pebble Beach with a car restored by students."
And the room got very quiet.
It was bold, It was aspirational, it was audacious, and it was thrilling. You could feel the energy in that room. We came back to campus, we sat down with faculty in the auto restoration program, and we started to craft out a plan. It really just kind of became this ball of questions that we had to unravel.
How do you get a car to Pebble? I guess determination and grit is how you get a car to Pebble, and a lot of luck. To even get an invitation, you have to have a special car.
Early on, we identified that we thought a 1953 Mercedes-Benz would be the car that we wanted.
We chased 300Ss for about 3 years, and then, like most old car projects, they find you.
One day, out of the blue, Dr. Richard Hopeman and his wife Mary from Pennsylvania called Paul Russell and Company.
I went down to Pennsylvania to visit and sit with the owner and his wife, and he really became very enthusiastic about seeing his car end up associated with McPherson College.
Richard Hopeman and his wife Mary had worked in higher education. They were excited that the car they loved for a lifetime would find a home, and not a retirement home. The McPherson College Bulldogs had caught the car. Now what?
This was really when the process became real, because now we had a car.
The McPherson team was looking at 7 years of hard work. The task ahead of the team was enormous. The 300S was Mercedes-Benz post-war reintroduction into the luxury class. 13,000 parts, twice the number of the famous 300 SL Gullwing it would give rise to. The mechanics, body, paint crew, metalworkers, upholsterers, and trim specialists that would be competing with the best in the world were actually full-time students, maintaining full course loads, working in between classes and on weekends, even holidays. The student team encountered the same challenges as the professional, except McPherson, it was all for the first time.
When I showed up as a freshman, the car was in pieces. It was in boxes, everything was greasy, and it was my job to figure out what was in the boxes and where it went.
This car has thousands of pieces. All of those minor details are really important. It requires a lot of attention to detail.
The transfer of knowledge from student to student added to the complexity of the restoration for sure. We had different groups of students working on this over many years. Students would come in, get to work on the car for a few years, and then moved on with life.
You have a revolving door all the time. So that means you have new ideas coming in and you have good workers that are flowing out, which can be a challenge at times.
It helped build a team mentality. What somebody was doing, somebody else was going to have to pick up. So as we started the restoration, we had to first remove the interior, the top, and then just started stripping all of the paint down. Found a lot more sheet metal work than we ever expected. The car got media blasted, primed, put on a rotisserie, and the metal work began, and that was almost a 3-year process in its own right. As the metal work was going on, we tried to restore as much of the mechanical components as possible. Rebuilt the engine, rebuilt transmission. We constructed a run stand so we could start the engine up and run it and break it in known conditions. Anything that we could do without it being on the car, we would restore. And then we started the paint process, and that was a full year.
Remember, this is an 80-year-old car that has had to be 100% restored. The Concours judges were going to scrutinize every nut and bolt, literally.
The biggest thing that Brian and the program stressed throughout was the details, and including details that cannot be seen.
Really, we're trying to go back to the way it was originally, and if you don't have the correct hardware, then you have to either find it or make it. So we can't get washers like these at the store, so we're tasked with making them ourselves.
The McPherson team had to machine parts from scratch that hadn't been manufactured in decades. Preserving the original woodwork would test the team, but the biggest challenge might have been the convertible top.
So you can see the convertible top is still in process. It's taken a lot to get it to this point. Another student, Matthew Croker, has kind of headed that up. I believe there's 5 layers in that convertible top, and it's actually a cabriolet top. So it's insulated. It's not just a ragtop roadster.
Even professionals that we knew that had been doing trim work and tops for a long time, this is something that many of them had not tackled before.
These McPherson students have become skilled in every area of the shop: metalwork, paint, chassis, drivetrain, engine, wood, and trim. They learned historical research, assessment and documentation, project management and communication, presentations, and accountability. So it's been a one-of-a-kind education, whether the car gets into Pebble Beach or not. Who am I kidding? We really want to go to Pebble Beach.
So one day the letter arrived. I open it up. Congratulations. Your 1953 Mercedes-Benz Cabriolet has been accepted to the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. So Michael and I went over to tell the team, what you have done here sets the bar really high. President Schneider and I just wanted to say, congratulations, this car's going to Pebble Beach. Stunned silence. And I think what happened was in that moment, it sank in.
We still have a lot to do.
Now is sort of the make it or break it hour, where we have all of those finer details that need to be executed.
Getting this car to Pebble is going to take a lot of long nights and long days. For me, I have to finish up some small details on the radio surround. It gets its own separate mahogany veneer. Today we bolted on the bumper trim and the bumpers onto the car, along with the grille shell. Once we work our way down and start installing the interior panels, we can start fastening those interior panels and wood trim into their final positions.
The exterior of the car is pretty well sorted. Most of the chrome trim is on. The trunk has the tires in it, all the jacks and the tools.
Parts that have been sitting on the shelf for years now are actually being able to put back on the car. We're running out of parts to put back on the car, which is a great feeling.
People say it's the last 10% that takes 90% of the time. And that is very true.
To introduce you to the McPherson College Pebble Beach 1953 Mercedes-Benz 300S Cabriolet. The day the car left for Pebble Beach, we hosted an event on campus and unveiled the car really to the public for the first time. And so to explain Pebble Beach to you, it's a lot like a college football team playing in the Super Bowl. And so the magnitude of this really cannot be overstated, that we have students competing against professionals from all over the world.
It was a really fun community event. This is a moment that people wanted to be at.
This project is bigger than just a car. We're actually shaping an industry.
It was so heartening to have campus community, alums, people from the town of McPherson, family members from all over came to campus to see this car and to send it off.
Oh, you want to know what happened to Pebble? Well, you don't just drive up to the platform and shake hands. The first gauntlet is a 70-mile tour. Will your car make it? Will it break down? This is where we put the fully restored pedal to the highly polished metal.
Driving on the tour was kind of a mix of fear, because you never know what's going to go wrong. I mean, I've seen so many cars that have had the best people in the world work on it, and something outside of their control happens.
And there are cars that don't make the tour. You'll see them pulled over at the side. Our car performed like a dream. And that was a magical experience as we drove through the crowd and we would see alums, advisory board members, friends of the program. Just everywhere we looked, we would hear people cheering for us, and we would see people who are a part of this story. And as we turned along one of the roadways and we're hearing this, "It's a great day to be a Bulldog," that rang out repeatedly, and people just cheering, "Go McPherson." And I think that was probably one of my most joyous moments, was just that this was the crowd favorite.
We were able to set up some relay stops along the way. We got to share it with a lot of different students, which was a lot of fun for them to see 2, 3, 4, 5 years of work now in motion.
It's unbelievable that these young students are able to match and in certain cases exceed what professionals have done.
After the tour, longtime friends of McPherson College, Melanie and Richard Lundquist, hosted an alumni gathering at their home on 17 Mile Drive to celebrate the conclusion of the tour.
I just wish McPherson could be out there on the national stage for everybody to see and to learn from.
People have heard me say, and I will never stop saying, the work that Brian and these students and the faculty have done on this car is phenomenal. It is a really proud moment. So thank you all for being here and joining us today.
I helped restore all of the interior woodwork. So
how was it? What did you have to start with?
So we started with the main dash piece, which we actually had to create a buck for because it was so fragile. So to do any work to it, we kind of had to solidly mount it before we could start the stripping process.
On most of this era Mercedes, everything's numbered. Were all the parts numbered?
Yep.
Yeah.
39A stamped on the back.
Yeah, they're so organized that way. I like the way the finish. You really see that it's wood, and it doesn't feel.
You see the grain, and it's not like under glass, which is exactly what we were going for.
Yeah, dude, very good work.
Thank you.
Good work.
Bringing a car to Pebble in and of itself is an accomplishment. The fact that we got invited and accepted, and now we're going to show the car on the field is a win.
We got about 3 more days to get the car final detailed for Sunday morning, and then Sunday morning, 8 minutes to get judged, and then we'll be home free.
Pebble Beach is the premier collector car show in the world. Getting a car to Pebble takes a lot of work and a little bit of luck. The Mercedes turned out better than anyone expected.
Knowing how far we come, 7 years ago, we introduced this car as it rolled out of its old home into our home, and it's just overwhelming to walk around and know that we actually did it. 7 years ago, we said we were going to compete to win at Pebble Beach, and here we are. Here we are with it, and it looks beautiful. I mean, the students did it. The students did it.
This cloudiness makes this black just pop. Almost looks too good. Almost. Sure. It's on the edge. It's flirting with the edge of being too good.
I would rather be 1 toe over than not good.
A step behind.
Yeah.
The McPherson College team and their gorgeous Mercedes are up against their biggest challenge yet. Not the brutal hours of work, not the painstaking restoration, the judges. There's nothing more the team can do. The work is done. Now they stand there and try to stay calm and account for their choices. Why did you change this from the original? How do you know this is authentic? Those are just some of the questions. Well, who's being judged here, the car or the team? Well, at Pebble Beach, it's both.
I don't think there's been a more anticipated car to be judged at Pebble Beach in a long, long time. There's literally 100 people around our car. People left their projects to come watch our judging. There were parents of students who were there. You got to see our students and Brian Martin in action. You got to see the judges realize that this is a great car and this is a contender.
When the judges came around and they had questions about that car, it was clear the McPherson College education advantage, because not only could they talk about the technical aspects of that restoration, but they could answer questions around why decisions were made to do things a certain way. And they handled themselves with confidence, they were competent, they were professional. And to me, that's what that project was all about, from beginning to end.
Judging is over.
It's that cathartic release. We've completed our duties. Everything went as smoothly as we could have asked for.
Regardless of trophy outcome, I could not be any happier. The car performed flawlessly. The students did a great job.
We played a waiting game once again, but it's a fun waiting game. It's a waiting game we look forward to.
To see this project come together has just been absolutely amazing. I got to tell you, I'm feeling really, really good. And I've been in Pebble Beach here 20 years. So, when you've got this much buzz around it and, I heard what some of the judges were saying, real excited that there's going to be some recognition for the car. I sure as hell hope so.
I have spent so much time staring at the pieces. It's kind of nice to see it together. I like that ribbon there. Wish we had a trophy.
I think we gotta wait on that part.
We'll get there. I'm patient.
We waited a long time. When we finally saw our class judge walking over to tell us, there was elation.
Hey everybody, exciting news. We're going across the ramp, period. Stay tuned to figure out first, second, or third. Yay, that's exciting.
Talk about a whirlwind of emotion and how it just carries you through something. I think that's what we were all feeling. We loaded into the car and we took off from the far end of the field to head up toward the stage to find out where were we going to place. As we drove through the crowd, people saying, "Go McPherson," just cheering on these students and Brian and the work that had happened and this concept that this program in the middle of Kansas was here on this world stage.
After making our way across the field, we drove up into the staging corral. There was a mixed bag of emotions, lots of anticipation. We probably sat there for 15 or 20 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. I don't know that it quite hit anyone yet. We had set out to compete at Pebble Beach, and here we were.
Finally, after 10 years and countless thousands of hours of hard work, the announcement comes.
In second place is McPherson College in McPherson, Kansas, built, restored by the McPherson students. What an achievement.
Yeah, the McPherson cars. I've never seen more energy around a car at the tour. They were so excited.
All done by our scholarship students.
Wow.
At the end of the day, people were blown away by the quality of the restoration, the passion of the students. We surpassed everyone's expectations of what to expect from our students.
7 years ago when the college first acquired the car, and it's a big step for the college to get started in this direction to make Pebble. And after seeing the car here and see it in its class on the field, it's hands down, it's an amazing opportunity to be a part of it. But to see it and see all the people that it brings together is unbelievable.
Pebble Beach Trophy is just the tip of an automotive restoration program running at top speed. In the country's best shops, you can hardly swing an open gull-wing door without bumping into a McPherson College graduate.
What I'd like the world to know about McPherson College students is whether they worked on this car or not, they're really serious and really passionate about this industry.
I had the privilege of graduating with my Bachelor of Science in Automotive Restoration this past May, and now I'm a vintage Ferrari mechanic and restorer at Patrick Otis Company in Berkeley, California.
This program gives you the confidence and the knowledge to be proficient. I had a job 6 months before graduation, and that doesn't happen for a lot of college graduates.
I think a lot of people graduate college and they're not quite sure what they want to do. You know, I have plenty of friends that graduated with a degree that they don't use, and I'm proud to say that I'm using mine.
McPherson College really exposed me to more possibilities than I could have imagined.
This little liberal arts college in McPherson, Kansas. Everyone goes, well, why there? Because they're doing it right. That's why.
What we've done is significant. And I think we need to celebrate and we need to recognize that it's amazing. But I'm gonna make you a promise. This is just the beginning of the legacy that McPherson College will have with the automobile. This is just the beginning. It's a great day to be a Bulldog.
With McPherson College at the wheel, I'd say the future of automotive restoration and the collector car industry is in very good hands.
you.